Pro Cycling Bets presents the hardest climbs of La Vuelta 2023. La Vuelta, occasionally known as the run to the litter of the Grand Tours, commonly used as a backup option for riders who perform badly at the Giro or the Tour de France and crash out. But don't let that mistake its prowess. La Vuelta has some of the steepest climbs, not necessarily the hardest or the longest, as the riders ride through the Pyrenees and Asturias of Spain. Heat has continually affected La Vuelta in recent years, with stages being cancelled. Will it affect this year? Will riders drop out? Gosh, it's going to be a tough tour. It starts off very, very difficult, hard second day, and so this means either the race will start off fast or allow a huge number of breakaways to fill the space. The first 9 days are just drastically super difficult for a Grand Tour. The second week is where the majority of the large climbs are. There's no dramatic necessarily the last few days other than stage 18, so if you're going to win the race, you best do it in one of those especial climbs in the second week. So what are we talking about here? We got a runner-up coming in, doesn't break the top 10, but called the Spandels. It's the easiest, in air quotes, of the climbs on stage 13, which is our pick for the Queen stage of La Vuelta. Starts off hard at 10%, and then it's a little bit easier in the second and third quarters before the 10% kicker, 80% up the way. Coming in at number 10 is Arençao Andorra, 7 kilometers at 8.2% on stage 3. And why we put this here is because it's on stage 3. That's a hard climb for a stage 3. Take a look at all those switchbacks. There's around 9 in total. Starts off easy, and then kickers of 13% and 12%. It's consistently around 8% though. Coming in at number 9 is Observatorio Astrofísico de Javalambre, 11 kilometers at 8% on stage 6. Again, within the first week, tough climb. It was last used stage 5, 2019 Vuelta, first and only attempt so far. The initial objective, the ascent, is difficult. It averages around 8%. You got a benign opening section, and then it ratchets up towards the start with kickers of 15%, 12%, 10%, 9%. And halfway it's just straight hard. Kickers above 14%, and then mostly around 10% all the way to the top. Coming in at number 8 is Puerto de la Cruz de la Nere, stage 18 finish, 8.3 kilometers at 8.5%. You have to do this twice, which is already super difficult. So imagine having to do the climb twice. No fun at all. Starts off hard, averages around 12% in the first quarter, 17% kicker in there, and then the second quarter is around 10%. It gets easier a little bit, but then, attack right at the start, I imagine, which can make up a bunch of time given it's stage 18. So if a rider's down, they're kind of need to make up some huge time difference, and they can do it on this climb. And again, it does get easier at the top. Porto de San Lorenzo, which is 10 kilometers at 8.5%. Stage 18, again, it's the first of the climbs on this stage, but it's slightly more difficult than number 8. It's a healthy number of kickers in there. It's in the middle of the stage. First and third quarters of this climb are the hardest, with the third quarter probably being the most difficult, especially after getting tired from the first bit. Attacks for a breakaway, potentially, probably from the second half. They might survive until the finish, but again, they have to do Linares again, which is quite difficult. Coming in at number 6, Col Horsaire, 11.6 kilometers at 8.3%, stage 14, which is the runner-up for us compared to, it's not the Queen stage, but it's a runner-up. It's definitely a super difficult stage. It's also called Isabert. It is a road pass in the Pyrenees in France, altitude of 1,500 meters, last won in 2020 by Marc Hirschi, which is on the 9th stage of the Tour de France. Easy start, easy end, just rather long. Attacks may start at just the second quarter, where it ramps up to 11% and then stays heavy. Final 10% section, maybe a launching pad too. Coming in at number 5 is Col de la Bisque, 16.6 kilometers at 7% on stage 13. Again, the Queen stage, in our opinion, of La Vuelta. 3 times used as a stage finish. Last 2007, won by Michael Rasmus from Denmark. Again, this is the Tour, not the Vuelta. It was last passed in the 2022 edition of the Tour on the Lords to Hautecamp stage, and it was won by Giulio Ciccone. 47 passages in all in the Tour. It's the first of the especial climbs on stage 13, before Spandels and prior to the Tourmalet. starts easy and then gets harder and harder and consistently stays at 8%, with the third quarter tough given the sheer distance involved of this climb, 16.5 kilometers. Riders will probably hold off until halfway before attacking if they do, given just how many climbs are on this stage. Coming in at number 4 is Ixore de Cati. I'm sure someone will tell us we pronounced that wrong. Feel free. This is our favorite climb by far. It's a relatively short 4 kilometers at 11.5% on stage 8. Before the first rest day, it's gonna be hard, instantly becoming a classic and a fan favorite after the first appearance in the 1998 Vuelta. The climb begins just south of Castella, consistently steep gradients, at times in excess of 20%. Last winner was Julian Alaphilippe in 2017. I mean, take a look at this. It's definitely by far our favorite. It's short but extremely steep. Starts off easy, in air quotes, at an average of 10%, and then in the middle section averages around 14%. 14% for almost the entirety of it. Riders finally get a reprieve near right at the top for 400 meters where they can sprint out a finish if they have anything left at all. Coming in at number 3 is Porto de la Ro, 15 kilometers at 7.8%, stage 14. Again, the runner-up stage for us. Pyrenees, Basque Country climb, climbs to an elevation of 1,600 meters roughly, right on the border of France and Spain. The French side climb was used in the 2007 Tour de France, first appeared in the Tour de France in 1996, second of the E-Special climbs on stage 14 after Corsair. We have the hardest section at the start and then the middle half, averaging around 9 and 10% respectively. The riders then get a reprieve in the third quarter, but then face a massive 2-kilometer kicker of around 9% to the top. Ooh, not fun. Coming in at number 2, Col de Tourmalet, 18.8 kilometers at 7.4% on stage 13. Well-known climb, everyone should probably know this one. It came in at number 3 in our top 5 hardest climbs of the Tour de France 2023 edition. What's changed to make this number 2 in our ranking? Well, it comes after the Col de Robisque, which is an E-Special climb as well, which occurs earlier in the stage. So not only do riders have to face this as the final climb of the day, but they also have to surpass Robisque first. A little bit of history. Col du Tourmalet, and its translation from the Gascon becomes Distance Mountain. Tourmalet is also cheese made from sheep milk produced in these mountains. Finishing climb, consistent and long is what this climb is, around 7% all the way, lots of hairpin turns. There's a minor break at halfway. Best time to attack is probably at the Barège switch off, which jumps to 8%. Steepest part is right near the top. Should prove to be interesting. Finally, coming in at number 1 is Alti de l'Angerou, stage 17, 13.2 kilometers at 9.4%. The Angerou was instituted because the organizers wanted a mountain to rival the Alpe d'Huez and Mount Ventoux in the Tour de France and the Mortarolo Pass in the Giro d'Italia. It would become one of the most demanding climbs in the region, also besides the Zoncolan. It was first included in the Vuelta in 1999 on stage 8 from Lyon, last used in 2020 and won by Hugh Carthy. Comes after 2 category 1 climbs on stage 17 that are by no means easy and just barely miss this list. It's an E-Special climb, and just take a look at this climb. Easiest section is at the start and it averages 7%. And then you have that 500 meter section at the start of the second quarter. It's a great jumping off spot for an attack, or at the halfway point, 15% there. But then it just stays hard after that, all the way up, averaging around 13%. You know, there's a kicker in there of 24% right near the top. There's a whole kilometer averaging 18%. Finally levels off near the end, but attacks would have been made already on one of those kickers. It is just a hard climb. Overall, though, we're really excited for the Vuelta. We're watching the Tour right now. It's proven to be super exciting, but we imagine some of the riders who crashed out, like Enric Mas or Carapaz, will show up as well and prove themselves on this demanding Vuelta course. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.